Greetings. Welcome to the I Ching Tao Temple of Infinite Harmony with R.T. Bates Seafood, aka the Smoking Dragon, featuring Kannabis Kung Fu for health, fitness, self-defense, and a new career or business certification in 10 months. Let's turn this down. So first of all, this is the opening video for the channel Kannabis Kung Fu. Cannabis with a K. So at the start of each video, I will beat my gong. The purpose for beating the gong is, for one, in a physical, worldly sense, to get the attention of the people who might be passing by. Like I'm about to do a show, like I have my background, I'm about to do a show. So I get your attention. But also on a non-physical side, in the Asian culture or Chinese culture, they ring the gong to rid the area of negative energy. So I'm going to beat my gong. Enough of the beating of the gong. So, let me open this video. Let me put some light on my face. I'm a little dark there. Let me do the opening properly of the video. Magu Zian Sho, which means divine marijuana or cannabis, brings immortality. So this is a little ritual that I came up to be unique for cannabis kung fu. So what I want to do on this opening video is explain what cannabis kung fu is and what it is not. So let me move my holy chalices away so I don't knock them over. Let me explain right quick what cannabis kung fu is not, because I know the title may be slightly misleading, because, and why I say that is because some people might come here and think that I'm going to be talking about the different ways to smoke cannabis, the different ways to make it into all kinds of different types of chemicals, da 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 da. No. Now I am calling it cannabis kung fu for a specific reason. But it is actually two separate things. On the one side, we have the use. I'm going to get into the abuse. I'm going to get into the medicine. I'm going to get into the recreational. I'm going to talk about all the different aspects of cannabis, specifically talking about marijuana. Now, in this temple, when we say cannabis, we mean both how we say it is marijuana and hemp. These are two sides of the same plant. And in cannabis kung fu, we're going to deal with both sides. Now, well, as part of that, the cannabis, in our sense, is a holy herb because it has more uses than people even know about. And if you are into religion like the Bible, or maybe even the Tao, or ancient ancient Egyptian spirituality, which I talk about on the other side of the room. Each one, or Hebrew, each one of these cultures, unbeknown to most, has a culture of cannabis. So we're going to talk about all those because my spirituality as part of the Tao is ancient Egyptian spirituality. But yours, again, might be different than mine. Yours might be Hebrew or whatever. So, on this channel, I'll talk about all these different things. Now, what I was saying is that cannabis kung fu maybe, or the name may be a little misleading because what this is not The best example in Kung Fu I can give is maybe drunken style. In the drunken style, you either drink for real or act like you have gotten drunk, and then you fight like you're drunk and falling over and these different things that go with being drunk. So, cannabis kung fu is not like that in the total sense. In other words, I didn't make up a style that acts like you smoked a joint or a chalice or a bong, and then you fight like you high off of marijuana. But the foundation of my style, or one of the foundations, is Tai Chi Chuan, specifically Wu style Tai Chi Chuan. I'm gonna get into who my teacher was and all that. So, in that sense, when you learn Tai Chi, um, the basic idea that you keep in your practice is that you shut your eyes, you close your eyes a little bit, until the point till you're looking like you're sleepy. You breathe and move in slow motion. You take the corners of your mouth like you're about to smile. You don't have to do you don't do a grin, you just turn up the corners of your mouth and move slowly and happily. Now that the brother who created Tai Chi, he was high. But again, we that's the only like connection of fighting like you're high. Because in the Tai Chi, that's the actual body, that's the actual personality you take on. Sleepy eyes, moving slow. You know what I'm saying? Now, the actual foundation of this system, cannabis kung fu, is actually, well, the other side of it besides Tai Chi, because that's the system that I am most versed in. My teacher is the Grand Master of Ying Jiao Pai, Eagle Claw School, but he's also a master of Wu style Tai Chi Chuan. So I took some of the foundation of Tai Chi Chuan, the breathing. Breathing is always first. So I took the breathing, which is combined with meditation. Breathing and meditation go together. So I took the breathing and meditation. I took what's called static postures. I'm not doing it today. I only got a little bit of space. I'll do all this stuff outside tomorrow. But static postures is where you stand still and hold a position to let the bio electromagnetic energy, which they call chi or qui, when you keep still, actually, not all the movement, but when you actually keep still in certain postures, that actually builds the bioelectromagnetic energy or chi qui in the body. When you're moving, you're actually using it for movement. But when you stand still, it has a chance to build when you have the correct mental and breathing and all that. So I've taken that from the Tai Chi. Now, it's not Tai Chi because once I've added boxing, and I've added a specific type of boxing, I'll talk about that in a minute. But in Tai Chi, the way you're supposed to fight is like this. Like my shoulders have to be down, and my elbow in Wu style, my elbows are down, and you move like this. Everything is like moving, like the top of the body is like a can turning like this, and it's close to free movement, but it's not all the way there. Now, what I mean by free movement, let's talk about the boxing. So, when I was growing up, I learned a specific type of boxing. It was called jailhouse rock. It has evolved since then, and today they call it 52 blocks. But there's two things going on here. The foundation is boxing, but when we take it into jailhouse rock boxing, there's all kinds of different moves that you do with your hands and things. Now, getting just into the boxing thing, when you throw a punch, you're gonna lift your shoulder and drop your head to protect you from being hit. You understand? And like I said, in Tai Chi, I'm like this. My shoulder is down. My hand has to be at the same level as my shoulder and all that stuff. And I'm always practicing slow. Whereas in boxing, you're going to be practicing like you would be fighting in the street. You understand? So in the boxing side, we're going to get into fitness and push ups on the knuckles and practicing sparring and different things of that nature that you don't do in Tai Chi. So the combination of the two, the boxing where you have to lift your shoulder and I've taken some of those things from boxing, like lifting your shoulder and dropping your head, and combined it with the Tai Chi, which is breathing, standing. We have something called reeling silk where you learn to move all the joints. So these are the basics of Tai Chi. Keep those things, but practice like you're a boxer. Practice fitness, practice push-ups, practice running. You understand? Well, when you get my age, we got a little different. So I'm going to do a cannabis kung fu for seniors. That'll be a little different exercise. You understand? And then it won't be a cannabis kung fu because I myself don't believe in a child at least younger than 18. That's the legal age. Um, having any use for marijuana except 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 if they are using the THC in the marijuana for medicine. And that we're going to get into that. It is the THC, not the CBD. It is the THC in marijuana, the real marijuana, not CBD oil and hemp seed and all that. The THC has the medicine. There is a lot more to this than you might think. So the whole purpose of this video is simply to explain that cannabis kung fu is not a joke. A joke is not a joke. So, so that's what it's, well, I guess that's what it is and what it's not, or what it's not and what it is. It's not acting like you're high. It's not fighting acting like you're high off of cannabis. But it is what we're going to get into is the medicine, the spirituality, because each different culture, believe it or not, I didn't make this stuff up because I'm going to show you books, etc. Each of different cultures have different ways of using the cannabis, da 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 da. And I put these out because I want to get it. I want us to get into the business of making these bongs. These are two coconuts. One, the first one that was gifted to me, obviously, I made it what I call the war unk. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Now the war unk, I had took my chalice or bong, and I weaponized it. But obviously, you can see that it's kind of difficult to use a real empty coconut for a weapon. So I have an idea, and I'm not going to talk about it on video, to actually make a coconut type of weapon. Now, see, this here represents the flame and etc. etc. I'm going to get in the whole video and get into all that type of stuff. Now, the peace chalice or bong, both of these were made for me. Now, the other reason why I'm showing them is that this chalice right here is where I started to create my cannabis kung fu. I did a video, but I'm going to do it over again. So this is the peace chalice. And this is when I smoke with a group of people and we smoke together. Again, I'm going to have to get into all these different things. So again, cannabis kung fu is not just about, yo, dude, I'm high, dude. We don't smoke paper joints. We don't smoke blunts. See, so kung fu, when you say something is a kung fu, which means time, work, achievement, or a high level of skill that you achieve over time, when you say something is kung fu, it's not just, yo, dude, I'm high, dude. We're going to get real deep into this plant that is called the plant, I believe, in this temple, we say that in your Bible, it is called the plant of renown. Ezekiel, the covenant of peace. So, there are 6 questions that, if you have questions about something, there are 6 questions you should ask, which kind of cover the whole subject of whatever it is you're asking about. So, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So the 6 questions are how, why, who, what, where, and when. So how was cannabis kung fu created? Well, I actually already said that in my first apartment here in California. I brought some students to come stay in the house with me. Won't do that shit anymore. But anyway, One of the main brothers who was supposed to be my partner, garbage, all that garbage, he was the one that actually made these chalices, or you might call them bongs. So from that, when he gifted me this one, I looked, started smoking, and after I started, see, when you start smoking, you start having all kind of ideas. You're like, wait a minute, this bomb. Now I gotta hold it like this because you have your hole over here. You hold it to smoke it, right? So that's like my teacher's kung fu is a claw. Now when I hold the stem here to smoke it, I gotta make the claw under here, hold the or cover the hole, and then hold. Well, you don't have to do this. You could just hold it like this, but we hold the stem to smoke. So that's a fist. Now, it was a crew of us. I got pictures, I got videos. If you don't believe me, whatever. But when we come to the park up the block, Lamert Park, because I was living down that way. Now I'm right down the block from. So when we hold the chalice, just like this, we used to sit in a circle and talk. So we just holding the chalice. We hold it with the palm. So that's the palm. Now, if I offer you my chalice to smoke out of, I would reverse it so the fire, I'm going to go through the whole etiquette of passing the chalice, but I would offer it to you this way. So my hand is like a tray. So what I did in the opening, made a tray, and this hand is actually representing the chalice. So then I go through the little ritual of the bow, da 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 da. I'll explain what this hand means, but this is the tray. So is that 5 hands? So the first hand, the fist, holding the stem. The second hand is, the fist represents earth. We're dealing with the 5 elements here. So the fist represents earth. Earth turns into metal, which is the tray I just showed you. So this is probably the most unique part of my cannabis kung fu because we use the hand like this as opposed to this. But this is metal, so you can use it chopping, stabbing, but using it this way, I'm gonna show you later. So metal, excuse me, metal turns into water. Now water has 4 phases or changes that it goes through. One phase is water itself. So water splashes. In this system, I'm trying to be as, I'm trying not to be too abstract. So water, this is splashing. So I'm going to show you what splashing is for. And then splashing is really like to block incoming punch. And then steam rises. It is also for an incoming punch. Then rain sinks. And then ice pierces. So that is 4 phases of the water hand. I'll get into each one of these a little deeper later. So after water creates wood, which is the hand that holds the chalice like so. So if you remove the chalice, the hand is like so. So this is like my teacher's eagle claw. Okay, so that's wood because wood pierces earth. It's a lot to this I have to get into. So once you make wood, the last hand out of the five is the palm, where we are relaxed, just holding our bong, chalice, holy chalice, okay? And that is the palm, which is shaped like a flame. So I will, throughout these videos, I will show you how to use those five hands. Those five hands represent the five elements. We're going to talk about all that on this side of the wall. So that is how cannabis kung fu was created. After I was gifted this bong, I got the hands down first, and then I figured out the rest, which is going to be the subject of these videos. So, why cannabis? Well, again, in this temple, started by me, so it's, I guess I don't use the word belief all the time. So I guess this is part of my belief because I say your Bible because I don't believe everything in the Bible, but this is in there. Like preachers take these words out of the Bible and they call it Baptist. They take these words out of the Bible and they call it Methodist. They take these words out of the Bible and they call it something else. So I found words, and I found the original words talking about what is called Canna balsam in Hebrew in your Bible. So, in Matthew 34:29, the covenant of peace in part says, I shall return to them a plant. This is the Most High, we call it, not God, not him, not her, the Most High. Oh, that goes with cannabis kung fu. The Most High said, I will return to them a plant of renown, and there shall be no more hunger in the land, nor shall there be any shame of the heathen any more. Now there's more to that covenant of peace, but just that little part there, I'm like, wait a minute, a plant of renown? What plant, what plant, what plant is more renowned today than cannabis? Oh, you don't know? The other thing, yeah, well, that's the why. That's why I have combined cannabis with my kung fu. Now, this kung fu, in the beginning, I just wanted the kung fu to have, or the tai chi to have a basis in fighting, and it got real deep because I don't even have to make the cannabis a part of this kung fu because the kung fu is actually based on the I Ching. Whole nother video. So that is the why I made, or why cannabis. Who am I? I'm going to have to do a video to show you I'm not some dude that just smoked a joint. Yeah, I'm going to make up a cannabis kung fu dude. You understand? I got a white beard. I've been studying and teaching and practicing Tai Chi Chuan Kung Wu style Tai Chi Chuan Kung Fu for many years. And I have a little background in boxing. So all that I have to do on a separate video. But I have a background in Kung Fu. I've been trained by masters. I have a background in Olympic boxing. I was trained by Samaj or Coach Samaj Floyd down in Georgia. He's also the coach, or he was the coach for Evander Holyfield Olympic trials. So I have a background. I'm an ex-Marine, data, data, data. So I'll get into who I am again on a separate video. So what am I offering? What are you offering? Well, as part of the Kung Fu, the only and the first cannabis Kung Fu. Starting out, I have a couple of things that I would like to offer. First is, I'm going to put a different cover, but first is, let me get up here so you can see, put some light on the situation. So that's my first class in the first building. That's me with the hat on, with the Fulani hat on. So this is excerpt of my book. The actual book, well, it's all handwritten right now. I just made this excerpt. So if you are interested in getting a little more understanding of the cannabis kung fu, get the excerpt. And then later on, I'll finish the whole book because you got AI now. But you still got to type all that stuff in anyway because this is the book. The book of cannabis kung fu. Now, along with the book, this is really cool. So I'm going to put the form in the book, but also I have cards. Now again, all this stuff is handmade right now, so it takes money to make these cards into cards that I can sell to you. So what these cards are, check this out. On the front here, let me get rid of this one here. On the front, I'll have the forms. There are 64 forms in my system. So you see, I gotta put the picture, and then I not only have the regular Chinese, but I also have the ancient form, and then this is what's called the hexagram, and my light just ran out. And so I made by hand 64 cards, but I'm gonna have to have them all typed up. And then on the back of the cards, I have the explanation of what each form is. So these are the forms. Let me see if I can do it this way. That's so cool, man. I'm a goddamn nabbit genius. What happened to my light, man? The light went out on me. Did I run out of, I guess I ran out of, I guess we're going to do it with half of the light. So, besides the cards, we'll be making practice weapons. Like this is PVC pipe, but we can make it into a practice staff. So I have nunchucks and all these different things that we'll be able to make pretty simply. But the star product that we will be making is our CBD oil combined with Chinese tonic herbal formulas. Now, I did a little research. I found two people, one a man and one a woman, and they both like doctors or whatever, and they are doing the same thing. They're combining um, what they call Chinese alternative medicine or herbal tonic formulas with CBD oils. So I'm going, and they're selling both of them at least $100 for an ounce. So all these different things we're going to be getting into in this temple. So that side is about how we are going to make money because I am not just teaching this as a kung fu system where you do it for 30 years and then so I will be also offering a 10-month consultant instructor certification course online. Okay? So that course, you join the membership. So even if you don't want the course, you can be a member for $8 a month. Now, if you want to take one of the courses, because I have three, I'm only talking about the Kung Fu now. I have a Kung Fu system, I have a self-healing system, and I have a health and wealth building system. So each one of those are 10 months, and I'll get into the details of each one of them specifically. But the Cannabis Kung Fu is 10 months, and it is $8 for a membership in the Dow network, and excuse me, and the course itself will be $72 a month. So that's a total of $80 a month, which is about what 20, 40, 60, 80, $20 a week. 10 months, $20 a week, certified by an actual temple. My temple is registered with the IRS. I have a tax number. We can take donations. If you want to donate, don't be, I, let me not say that. You know, if you make a significant donation, I send you my tax ID and you take it off your taxes. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Donald Trump going to stop taxing silver. Anyway, I have a church. I have an actual temple. So, those are some of the things I am offering. Where am I located? I am located in Los Angeles, California. I am about 10 or so blocks from a famous area called Leimert Park. And I mentioned that because all you gotta do is go on Google and find out where that's at. But I'm on Western Avenue and Vernon Avenue, and I am starting the school here. I'm just starting from scratch. So as I'm doing these first videos, I won't have any people. I'm just going to start promoting this space for a live class. So that's where I'm located in California. Now, I have land which I plan to extend this so on the land people or students can come and live because where I got land is like out there. So I'll explain all that later when we talk about that. But right now I'm focusing on getting the school started here. So that's where I'm located. So now the last of the 6 questions is, when do you start? Because if you came to this channel, you, I guess, must be interested in cannabis kung fu. Ooh, oh, oh. So like I explained, this is not your ordinary kung fu. What the thing I started to say but didn't is that since his since Tai Chi has its own way of movement, and boxing, which I'll get into my 52 or Jailhouse Rock, showing you the difference between that and regular boxing. Boxing makes you do things that break the laws of Tai Chi. So, it's not Tai Chi anymore, but it's not, is especially not sport boxing, but it's not just street boxing anymore. By adding the meditation and the breathing and the stances, it becomes totally something new and different. So, if you are interested in my new cannabis kung fu, the only school where you can come in and smoke a bong with me. Try smoking a bong in your kung fu school and see if your ass don't get kicked out. So that's about it. I just wanted to, on this opening video, explain. I'm gonna kick that light ass in a minute. Explain what cannabis kung fu is not, and what cannabis kung fu is, and where. Well, I don't know if I didn't really talk about where I want to take it, but you can imagine that between it being a new kung fu, between me having a background, I just talked about my kung fu, my Tai Chi teacher, Grandmaster, blah, blah, blah. Wait till I tell you about my other teacher. So, my background, new kung fu, blah, blah, medicine. You can make your own medicine these days. That by itself is tripping me out. But what I haven't talked about, I'll talk about later, is that the Kung Fu is actually based on what's called the Book of Changes, which is the I Ching Oracle. 64 hexagrams, 64 movements based on each hexagram. Deep shit, man. I'm going to get into all that. That's right. I say shit. I'm going to say a whole lot of offensive shit. Because when you're on the street, when you come from the street, when you fight on the street, it ain't no nice shit. So we gonna talk shit sometime. And if you can't handle a little shit, what the shit? I'm out. Peace. And I hope to see you. I will talk about the certification course on another video. But for right now, that's the end of this video. And get in touch with a brother, and I will talk about what the Dow network is on another video. And you can join me there. Peace.